Miss Jones.
Yes.
My name is Bree. I'm going to be taking care of you today.
Okay.
How are you feeling?
Okay, I guess.
Do you know where you are?
I think I'm in the church.
In the church? No, you're in Memorial ER.
ER?
Yeah.
Why?
Do you not know why you're here?
Hmm.
You got into a little accident.
Oh. What is this?
That's your collar. It's going to protect you.
So hot in here.
I know. You have to leave it on, though. So leave that on. Are you in any pain?
Yeah.
No, ma'am. You have to leave that on.
So now it's time to consider some safety precautions for the patient since she's confused and already starting to pull at things. A lot of these can be found in the policy on the intranet for restraints. And some of those include getting the family involved to stay with her and help orient her. Try and hide things that we don't need or talk to the physician about things and see if we can not have them or conceal them so she can't really see them, to pick at them or pull at them. Try and turn on the TV or either decrease stimulation, ambulate her if you can, give her medicine, or if she's trying to get out of bed to go to the bathroom, offer toileting, things like that. So first we'll start with the least restrictive, which will include mittens. So mittens are not considered restraints until you tether them down to the bed. Once you tie them to the bed, they're considered restraints. And this is how you put mittens on.
Alone.
This is so uncomfortable.
I know. Try to get off as soon as possible. Listen, it's getting really cold outside. I have some real cute gloves for you to wear.
Okay.
All right.
Here is warm.
Yeah, really warm. No. Put that down. All right, almost done. These are better than the ones you get at the store.
Can I take it home?
We'll leave them here for right now. All right.
A form of when mittens would be charted on, when they're tethered to the bed and tied down. Again, you would tie them to a non-movable part, quick release knot.
Yeah, we have to stay in bed.
Nope.
Hey,
I'm
listen.
leaving.
Listen, I have this really cute vest to put on you. It's more fashionable than your gloves. Hold on just a second. I need your help. Hold on just a second.
So when applying a vest, you want to make sure that you have the appropriate size for the patient.
All right.
It is not one size fits all.
Thank you. All right, let's sit you forward so I can zip this up.
It's getting too hot in here.
I can fix the AC for you. What do you think of this pattern?
It's okay.
Okay. All right, let's get you tucked back in. Go ahead and lay back down. There you go. All right.
So you want to make sure you tie it to a non-movable part of the bed in a quick release half bow knot. How are you doing, Miss Jones?
I'm in pain.
For easy release.
And you want to make sure that the vest is appropriately positioned for the patient so that it's not choking the patient and the patient can't slide down and get their neck caught into the vest. Attempts have been made and the patient still is pulling at things and is unsafe. Other measures have to be used.
Miss Jones, what are you doing?
I need to go. I need to leave this place. I'm
Listen,
tired of laying in this
listen.
bed.
No, help.
No. No.
Miss
Oh,
Jones,
it's
we
fine.
have to
Let
lay
me go.
back. We have to lay back.
Hey.
Let me go.
Hey, Miss Jones, let's get back over in bed. Let's get your legs back over. Yeah. When tying soft restraints, make sure that you tie them to their wrist and that you leave at least 2 finger breaths in between the patient's wrist and restraint, so they're not too tight. You always make sure that you check for capillary refill, circulation, and movement. Again, while tying the restraints, make sure you tie them to non-movable parts of the stretcher in an area where the patient cannot get to them and untie them in a half bow or quick release knot. Always make sure to assess for signs of injury with restraints or seclusions and note any medications administered prior, skin status and mental status and behavior, whether it's violent or nonviolent. With nonviolent, you'll check every 30 minutes and every 2 hours you'll do rounding for hydration, nourishment, toileting, and alternatives attempted. For violent restraints, you'll monitor every 15 minutes. I'll go over exactly how to tie a restraint and where is the proper location more in depth and what not to do when tying a restraint or tethering a restraint. So first, you want to make sure you place it on the patient's wrist in an appropriate location and move any jewelry or take anything off. You're going to go through the little hole and tighten it and wrap it around again. And make a little knot so it doesn't become undone or loose. Once it's tightened, you want to make sure there's 2 finger breaths between the restraint and the patient's wrist and that circulation and movement is still intact. And then you want to make sure at the appropriate location. So this, when the patient's arm is not in an anatomical position, is not appropriate. You can cause damage to their joints, ligaments, bones. So you want to make sure it's tied in an anatomical position to a non-movable part. Here, here. This is not a good spot, and this is not because it's open. And you wouldn't want to tie it to the side rail down here either, in case people move it. Tie a quick release or half bow knot. So you're going to go down, make a loop, and then pull, and make sure it's tight. And pull up so you know it's not going to untie. And you can always check to make sure by pulling down and making sure it's just a one-hand quick release. One step to untie the patient. Applying restraints to a stretcher, where not to apply them include the side rail, any part of the side rail, the side of the bed. The stretchers come equipped with the same non-movable part, which is found up under the mattress. So when restraining your patient to a wheelchair, first you have to think of their safety and is it appropriate for them to be in a wheelchair if they need to be restrained. However, if you are using a restraint in a wheelchair, you fasten it to the tilt bar, which is found down here. Also remember that all of the policy and procedures can be found on the intranet in the restraints policy. There is a table in the restraints policy about what to monitor, how frequent to monitor it, whether it's impaired decision making, violent or self-destructive behaviors, or if it's seclusion type of restraint. Again, you're going to go over restraint application, skin appearance, circulation, mobility, sensation, signs of injuries from the restraint, range of motion, repositioning, and release of restraints, and whether you offered fluids, nutrition, or toileting, physical and emotional needs expressed, and need for continued restraints, and how often to check for that, and vital signs should be done when vital signs should be done. Again, in the policy procedures, you'll find when you need a physician order. If you're given a verbal order, they have up to 4 hours, or if you apply restraints, you have up to 4 hours to obtain an order, and they must be seen by the provider within 24 hours along with a note written. And how frequent your restraints are allowed for minors and how frequent your restraints are allowed for adults. So times when we would discontinue this if the patient is calm, able to follow directions, not pulling at medically necessary equipment, or attempting to get out of bed. This is an example of how we can release her restraints because she's calm, quietly sitting there and not pulling or attempting to get out of bed or trying to hurt people or herself. In Epic, make sure you go to your flow sheets and click on the Restraints tab. The education should only be done for the initial education portion, and also make sure you document when and why you discontinue the restraints, and you document how often that you're applying and doing your circulation movement and pulse checks and things like that. And remember, if you do discontinue the restraints, but the patient becomes aggressive again or attempts to pull at things again and restraints are necessary, make sure you get a new order. The previous order is not valid even if it's within 24 hours.